You can watch it on Tucker Carlson Today. It airs tomorrow, 7 a.m. on Fox Nation. So the Biden administration has opened our borders completely to the rest of the world, and millions have come across. Now, one of the responses to this, the governor of Texas has begun busing migrants to sanctuary cities like D.C. and New York, which richly deserve them. But it turns out a lot of these illegal aliens are not making it to those cities. They're winding up instead in places like tiny Dade County, Georgia, which is in the rural western part of the state. Here's a local report from WTVC in Tennessee.
Here in Lookout Valley at the Comfort Inn and Suites Motel, another bus has arrived. An employee inside the motel did confirm with us that there are migrants on these buses. A CPD spokesperson on the scene said the buses are transporting migrants from Texas to D.C. and New York. But Chattanooga is a rest stop. There's a similar story in Dade County. Earlier this week, the Dade County Sheriff's Office confronted migrants being dropped off in Rising Fawn.
He got a translator, and the migrants told him that they were told that they were being dropped off within walking distance of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Ray Cross is the sheriff of Dade County, Georgia. We're honored to have him join us tonight. Sheriff, thanks so much for coming on. What are you seeing in your county?
Well, good evening, Tucker. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
Last Wednesday, I received a call from a 911 center that from the district manager had stated that a bus had dropped several migrants off at his store. And as I responded to the store to see what was going on, the truck stop, the bus was pulling away with the migrants following along behind the bus. And so I stopped the bus, went up to the driver and asked him what he was doing. And he said, well, I can't stop them from getting off the bus. And I said, well, you're not leaving them here. I said, they have no resources. We have nothing here for them in Dade County. So he had also what he said was a security guard with him. I got both of them off the bus and was talking to them. And I said, they can't stay here. I said, we have nothing for them. I said, they were trying to trade pesos in the store for American money, currency. And so they had no way to buy food, no way to buy water, anything else. So I called a translator down to talk to these migrants, and they said they were from, the bus driver told me they were from Venezuela. So the translator said that as we were talking to them, they stated that the bus driver was coercing them to get off the bus, that Chattanooga was just a little ways up the road, which that's not true. Chattanooga is approximately 20 miles plus up from our south end of the county where they were at. So I then had him to call his owner of the bus line, which he did out of Irving, Texas. And the name of the bus was Coastal Crew Change out of Irving, Texas. And I talked to a guy named Austin there, and he said he was the owner of the bus line. And I told him what was going on there, and he said, well, we can't make them get back on the bus. I said, well, what if they voluntarily get back on the bus? He said, well, we can do that. And what the bus driver told me he was doing is when they get off the bus, they cut armbands off that are on, and they can't reboard the bus. So the bus, talking through the translator to these migrants, they stated they would love to get back on the bus because they didn't know where they were at. So they were willingly wanting to get back on this bus, which they did, and the bus finally pulled away with all the migrants on the bus. So right after that, I called our state representative, Mike Cameron, which got in touch with our Senator, Jeff Mullis. And Jeff contacted Governor Brian Kemp, which called me and talked. And Governor Kemp got some resources from the Georgia State Patrol. Colonel Smith and Captain Prather and Sergeant Buckner all responded to our county to help with calls while this is going on. So I appreciate everything they've done. And also Marjorie Taylor Greene contacted me and stated she was going to contact Governor Abbott and see what was going on. And Tucker, to be honest with you, I think this was all the bus lines doing this. I think what they were doing were dropping off migrants along the way, because I asked them what the destination was, and they told me Washington, D.C. And just my theory is they're dropping these off along the way to where they don't have to go all the way to D.C. and still get paid for the full trip.
It's all so crazy and chaotic. It's hard to believe this is actually happening. And to a county like yours. Sheriff Ray Cross of Dade County, Georgia, what an interesting story that was. Thank you for telling us that.
Thank you, Tucker.
So voting in the United States is completely chaotic. It's designed that way to encourage voter fraud, obviously. But that's not the case in other